All right, guys, so now we're gonna work on setting up the Sim Baby. So here's our lovely Sim Baby Laerdal case. We're obviously in one of our ED rooms. So first thing, baby has foam on top. We're just gonna pop the foam off and put it into kind of a corner here just beside so that it's out of the way. And then here's Samantha or Sim Sam. I usually grab underneath the neck and was that someone at the door? Here, pop up. All right, so here we go, Sam. She's actually been charged up, but I'm gonna go ahead and plug him in. So these are the kind of pluggies that go together and they're in the box. So plug for Sam is gonna be on this side. You have to put these two together. Everyone should know how to do this. Ba-boom. And then into the wall. This is an optional part. It just depends on if Sam is plugged in or not. If Sam needs to be charged, then you have to do this part in order to turn it on. If you'll come around this way so they can see where. So on the side, this is the right side of Sam. There's two different openings. So this opening is for the Wi-Fi. This opening here lower is for the power. So you just plug it right in to the power there. Okay, and then you'll see a light turn on that recognizes that it's been plugged in, and it needs a little bit of it's yellow, so it's not charged all the way, so that's good. So the next thing we need to do is set up Sam's internal Wi-Fi. So everything you need to do that is going to be here in the luggage. So everything for the Wi-Fi should be in this part of the case. So the internal Wi-Fi needs this plug, the Wi-Fi adapter, I guess I'll call it, or the Wi-Fi machine per se, with the little wings here. And then the the Wi-Fi wing machine needs to be plugged in as well. So this is its pluggy. So these are the three things you need for the internal Wi-Fi. So this basically allows us to take Sam anywhere and for Sam to work anywhere. So first things first, this gets plugged into our machine. So there's three different little plugs in the back. I generally put it into the very last one here. Whoop. Like that. And then it has to go into Sam. So it's going to go into the higher notch. You have to be very careful with the arm. So it goes up here in the armpit. You open it up, and then you can see very well that it fits. I'm going to have it oriented wrong. Let me put it in correctly, and then gently slide it in, bop, and it'll pop in. And that's it. So now the Wi-Fi is connected. Now this can be placed just below Sam. The other thing is this needs to be bloop, bloop, plugged in here. There's my plug. Sorry. So here is the plug, goes in here, boop, boop, and then this needs to go into the wall. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this kind of under here so that it's not wrapped up in this. I'm gonna place the Wi-Fi underneath here. Ooh, it's okay. It can be a little blah, but it just needs to get plugged into the wall. I also have an extension cord that you can use in the kit if needed. The extension cord is right here. Here, let's just pull it out and do it. So, extension cord, do this. That'll make this last plug a little bit easier. There we go, and then you want to, and then this Wi-Fi can just sit right here underneath the bed. And now that I've plugged it in, you see one green light. If you wait over time, two green lights are gonna appear. We just have to wait a little bit for the green light. All right, guys, so while you're waiting on your green light to show up, you can start setting up your patient monitor and your laptop, your tablet that's going to allow you to run the patient monitor. So both of these are going to be in the luggage suitcase that we keep along with our mannequin. It's a green suitcase that'll be in the room in Lapis's office. Okay, so just like any other laptop, we open them up. I got these fun cases for them. So hit the button, turn them on. Oh, let me make sure my green lights are on. Yes. Oh, and then you can see green light. So 2 green lights now, which means my Wi-Fi is now working. And then I need to also turn on SimSam. So SimSam's on button is right here below the cord. So now I just hit the button, and then now SimSam is on, and SimSam will automatically connect to that Wi-Fi. So this has to happen first because all of these laptops need to connect to that Wi-Fi. Maybe these laptops.
And what does the second green light flashing indicate as opposed to?
I think it means that the Wi-Fi network is connected, is up and running or something.
So we want the second light to be flashing.
Yes. Ooh, I just cried. Okay, so I'm gonna connect this. I thought these were plugged in, but maybe they aren't charged. Come on, buddy.
And have you turned this one on? Is
So
this a little thing?
yeah, a little thing at the top here that you push and hold.
Okay.
And then all of these can be kept like this so that they don't fall. And then we'll just plug everything into our extension cord since we have it. And then I can't remember which one is which. This one is this one is the one that we're gonna use to run the sim. So this one is actually doesn't need to be plugged into the wall. But this one is the patient monitor. And also it looks like it's on, so it doesn't need to be plugged in. So if you need the plugs, obviously the plugs are around. The one that has this connected to it is the one that you're going to be using to adjust the vital signs. The other one, and it's also labeled here at the top, here. Instructor PC.
And this one is a patient monitor.
This one is labeled patient monitor, exactly, perfect. So the way that we log in, Gallery doesn't know how to use a computer, so push and hold. I guess we're gonna,
I think just push it once.
There we go. Okay, so this one's working, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign on. So the way that we sign on is, it's gonna be /SIMUSER, and then the password is capital S to sim, and then capital U to user, and then it should work. And then it'll sign in, and then same thing with this one. Both of them, it's the same exact password. So /sim user, and then for the password, it's capital SIM capital USER. As you can see on the Instructor TC, it goes ahead and brings up the Teardown thing, but the issue is it may not already be connected to SimSam. So I'm gonna click down here and see where it's connected.
I'm sorry, where did you click again?
Got it, sorry. So let me do it one more time. So I'm gonna click down here in the right corner. There, and then it should say Teardown Net. So it does say Teardown Net, which is wonderful, which means it's connected to our Sim Baby. So that's the Wi-Fi that we have, Teardown Net, whatever, 2BEB. So next, in order to get to the instructor portion, you click this big button right here, this leap button. And then you're gonna get a view where it's gonna ask you to pick Sim Baby. So our Sim Baby 915 should show up as the patient simulator, and this is the one that we're going to use. So then you just click on that, and then it should say starting simulator. And then next, most of our things are run in manual mode, so you can hit manual mode. And then we will have lots of different themes you can pick, and you can also later pick themes to do automatic mode, but for right now we're doing manual mode. I'm just gonna quickly hit healthy patient and hit OK. Or sorry, we can also use this stylet, which is what it's for. There we go. And so that's gonna start up the instructor portion that you're used to seeing. Now we do the same thing for the patient monitor. So now I'm gonna come to this right corner and make sure that it's connected to Teardown Net 2BEB, which it is. That's what it's connected to. It shouldn't be connected to UT or Memorial Hermann or any of this. It should be connected to this Teardown Net, which it is. So then the next thing is I click this big button here, patient monitor. And then again, it's gonna find SimBaby and connect to it. And then there's our patient monitor. So now this is the patient monitor that the residents are gonna use during the simulation. And then this over here is gonna be your instructor PC to run the simulation. And at this point, you're basically ready. All you have to do now is, if you have any other moulage, if you want an Airway box, Dr. Lapis has gotten us a hand-heavy cart that we're able to use just for simulation and practice, and that's kind of it. And now it's just a matter of learning how to use this part, which everybody will have to take some time and do. All right, guys, I'm going to show you a few extra accessories and how to set them up. So the O2 sat probe you'll need for most things. It's housed in this compartment. Everything needs to get put back afterwards, so please remember to do that. It consists of a little USB connector and the obvious O2 sat probe that you guys are essentially used to. So if you want to use it, the way that you would have to do it is obviously put it on SimSam's toe or finger. It actually doesn't have to be attached in order for the sat to show up, is what I believe Shadi had told me, but I think it does. Boop, 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 boop. So I would put that a little bit so there's a little bit more room. Bloop, bloop. Okay, and then for this guy, this has to get plugged into the patient monitor. Or, yeah, the patient monitor. So the monitor is here, so we're gonna plug it in. There we go, like that. This little cappy will obviously get lost, so everyone needs to make sure to keep it in your pocket as soon as you take it off, or put it in the box. This plugs into here.
And that was a cap for the USB probe.
Correct, cap for the USB probe, exactly. This plugs into here. You just kind of have to look at it and figure out how it fits. I think it's like this. Boop, boop, and there we go. And so the O2 sat probe is now ready to go and hooked up to the patient monitor. It's just another thing that you could potentially trip on here. So you just have to be careful on this side of the patient. And I think getting yourself, a little extra room here is good if you can. Okay, there we go. Oops. And it is falling off.
Can you put the O2 sat probe only on the toe or also on the fingers?
I believe you can put it on the finger as well. Yes, you can put it on both.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then the next thing I want to show you is the shock link. So this, if the nurses have a Zoll, which is what we generally use to shock, we can essentially hook up to any Zoll with this system. So it's in this little bag. Sorry, this baggie was in this compartment of the luggage case, and this baggie has a battery in it. So the first thing you have to do is put the battery inside the shock link device. So this is where the battery goes. You just click it over and pop it out. Whoop. And then look at here, it tells you which way it goes in. A positive goes down. And then you put it in, boop, boop, and then you get your blue light on. So blue light on, which means it's gonna be connected to SimSam. So once it's connected to SimSam, you take these are gonna be our pads right here. These are reusable pads. So these connect to this. So this connects to this guy right here. Boop, boop, excellent. And then this is an adapter. Basically, this adapts this shock link to Zoll. So then you take the Zoll and you put it over here. So basically all the Zoll training units can be plugged up to this on this side, and then you can use any Zoll to potentially shock the baby. And they can use these pads, so they just put, it's obviously self-sufficient, just like we normally use pads. The pads just go on the baby like they normally would. You can have it set to the side here with the Zoll so that it's set up and ready just in case they need it. Please just remember, after you're finished, we have to always take the battery out, or else we'll run the battery out for this thing. So to take the battery out, you just push it back, boom, boom, and then it pops out.
Is there a way to turn this on and off, or is it battery in, it's on, and battery out, it's off?
Battery in, on, battery in, out. Yeah, it's just a battery. And then all of this goes back. Woo. Push this button, evidently. Ooh, goodness. Pull this button back, and then this comes out. And then everything, all of the shocking things go into this shock link bag. And please try to keep the battery in the bag as well so that we can keep reusing it. So everything goes back in the bag. And then when you're finished, and then goes back into this compartment. And then lastly, this is silicone lubricant. So the 3.5 ET tube and the Miller 1 are what we use for this baby. You need to lubricate the blade of the Miller 1 and lubricate the ET tube before anytime they need to intubate, so that they're able to actually move within the airway.
And making sure no lubrication of the actual mannequin, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. You don't put this in the mannequin, and you actually can't. It's not a spray. It looks like shoe polish, essentially. So you can only put it on the items that need to go within. It's not just liberally sprayed you don't put it in the mouth. Hey guys, so in the luggage box, we'll have one of our practice Airway boxes. I also have basically it's a PALS card in there that the residents can use. I have one of these old Broslows just so they can struggle through it and see how horrible it is. Obviously we use Hand Heavy, but if you want to show them how terrible Broslow is and remind them that Hand Heavy is awesome, you can use that. And then I happen to have a little, this is basically like a little CPR Annie. So this is just for doing CPR and Airway. You can't even intubate it. You can only bag it. In the event that you have some use for that, it's in here to use. This is an adult eye gel, as it turns out. And
Into that bag, that plastic bag.
oh, the plastic bag just has some NRP stuff. So this is just some Airway adjuncts that I've accumulated essentially over time. There'll be a non-rebreather in here. There'll be some, I'll have a giraffe BiPAP. And what else? And I'll also have some Vapotherm cannula stuff in here as well.
Alrighty.
So I'm just going to show you a little bit quickly of how to use the software here. So generally when you're doing manual mode, we usually edit the vital signs before we start. So you just click edit before starting, and then you can change the vital signs. So if you want to change the heart rate, you can click, and then essentially you can use this roller to go up or go down. Or you can click within this, and then you can actually use the keyboard to physically change the number. I don't know why the keyboard's not showing up right now. This is just a weird quirk that sometimes does happen. So hit OK after you've set whatever you want. You can change the rhythm by clicking here within the rhythm area. So you can do sinus, but if you want them to start with no pulse, then you actually hit PEA and hit apply. And then they will now have no pulse, but it'll show up as a PEA rhythm. If you want to change to a different tachyarrhythmia, say you can do VTAC. We'll do VTAC type 1. I don't even know what that is, but whatever. So VTAC type 1. And then if it'll have a pulse unless you hit PEA and apply, and then there will be no pulse. And then you also, I've found it'll have a pulse if you have a blood pressure. So you also have to make sure that the blood pressure is 0. So you click there, you get rid of the number, you hit number, 0, and then it'll automatically adjust to 0 once you click 0, and then there you go. Now the patient will be in VTAC when you start, and the blood pressure will be 0. You can also change the O2 sat by clicking on it and going up and down essentially here on this, or you can again click here and then manually change the number to whatever you would like. And then lastly, you can change the temperature here. If they want a temperature on here, they actually have to click and then turn it on. I'll do that one more time. You have to click here, you have to touch the screen and then turn it on. And then it'll show up once you're actually like playing the sim, it'll show up. And then to change end tidal, if they're looking at end tidal, you click on that. To change the respiratory rate, you click here, and then you can change the rate just as you would everything else. There's some other features you can change. So body sounds here, so you can change the heart tones, the right and left lung tones. You can this basically syncs the right and left lung, and that you can unsynchronize it, and then you can change both sides, or you can synchronize it and change just one. You can make the baby have different noises, vocalization, screaming, strong cry, weak hiccup, whatever. With the Airway, you can change the resistance on one lung versus the other. You can change the compliance. You can make the chest rise look different, irregular, deep, shallow. You can actually click here and this is foreign body airway obstruction. This is tongue edema. You can make the tongue get bigger if you click there. You can cause pharyngeal obstruction, and you can cause laryngospasm. And then this right here is actually tension pneumothorax. So you can make the bladder go on, and then it'll actually have air here, and you can actually do a chest. There is an area where they can do a needle decompression. Thank you. Oh my God, decompression. If they wanted to. Going lower, pulses. So you can change the pulses in the right hand, the lower extremity, and the left hand. So you can make them stronger or diminished. It looks like they all start diminished. So if you want them to be strong, you have to kind of pick that. And then you can change the tone of the baby. So limp, motion, seizure, right, left arm. These are all options. That's interesting. Looks like you can actually get the idea of how well their CPR is going here, if they're doing CPR. You can change the eyes. You can make them open or closed. You can change the pupil size on one side versus the other. You can make the blinking frequently or not. You can make it seizure. So those are basically all the things that you can do. And then just some quick things on the Mannequin, actually, while we're doing this part.
What about this top left black box?
This one doesn't do anything exciting.
Okay.
Yeah. It's for themes, but I haven't programmed any themes yet. So quickly on the Mannequin, some things. Cap refill is up here. So if you push and hold, a light will come on. You can probably see the light. Maybe. Did it show up? I'll do it one more time. Push and hold, and then the light comes on, and then it goes away. So that's one way. And then you can get cap refill in the left palm. So you push and hold, and then there's a light that goes on and off, and that's the cap refill that they can assess. The both of the pulses. So it's brachial pulses on both sides. One is here. And you have to push gently. Another one is here. Obviously it doesn't have pulses right now because we told it not to. And then the femoral pulse, I put a diaper on him to make it more realistic. The femoral pulse, you'll feel like almost like a lymph node right here, and just above that little lymph node thing, you can feel a pulse right here for sure, and you should be able to feel it actually on both sides. And then, what else can you do, my little friend? That's where you can do the tension pneumothorax. But I let's not do that yet.
Got it.
Basically. Oh, and these things, these little plastic guys, they can actually put an IV inside the hole there. And we're not going to give real medications because then I'd have to drain the baby. but you can at least put an IV catheter in here during the simulations, so that it'll make it a little bit more real. It'll look like it has an IV. So you can do that here. You can do that, I believe, on the hand here. On the hand here, you can do it. And then on the feet, in the posterior tibial area here and here. There, you can put IVs in these areas. And that's it. Thanks, guys. All right, so the final part is actually running it, right? So now we've selected everything that we want from our vital signs, and now we're gonna go ahead and run the sim. So you hit play here, and then the screen turns a darker color actually. And now if the residents would like EKG leads, they have to hit the button, and then it'll show up. The sensor, I don't have the sensor plugged in right this second. Let me just plug it in real quick. I accidentally just hit the art line, which does happen, and you just have to roll with it and say, oh, look, we have art line tracing. There we go. So plugging in the plugging in the O2 sat. There we go. So O2 sat is in. It's on a finger. Let's see if it'll work. No sensor. Maybe it does have to be on the toe. Let's see. Oh, maybe it's because the number I have is so low. Let me pop it up to a higher number and see if it'll show up. No sensor. Oh, because it's pulling out. Let's try. Oof. There we go. How about now?
Whoa.
Okay, there we go. Troubleshooting
It's loose.
on the road. So there we go. So troubleshooting. It should show up if it's there. Let me just try a lower number. Make sure that it shows up if it's lower. Yeah, it does. Okay, great. So there we go. So it shows up even if it's low. You got your respiratory rate. If they want the temperature, they can click right here, turn it on, and then the temperature will show up. And then if you put an end title in, or if they want an end title, they can click here, and then the end title that you have entered will show up. And there you go. All right, guys, so the last bit of pieces, as we put all of this away, let's please try and keep everything in the same spot so that it's easy to keep up with. I don't have a shoddy, it's just me, and I don't have time to like look at this case every single time I'm on shift. So please just make sure that when you're putting everything away, you put it away kind of in the way that I had it so that we all know for sure that we have everything, and just run through the checklist just to make sure that you've put everything away. And again, I want to make sure that we don't accidentally use stuff that we use in sim for real people. So all of the stuff that we bring in, we should make sure to put away and so it doesn't accidentally get used on a real patient. Okay, thank you.